Hi, friends. This is Editing Sage here. Just before we get too deep into today's topic, I want to let you guys know that there is a trigger warning for kind of just about everything, but definitely death of children, some sexual assaults, and cannibalism. So if those are subjects that are deeply unsettling to you, please just skip this episode today. There is a lot of talk of this for this case specifically. So just do what you need to for yourself, and we'll hopefully see you next week if you need to skip. Welcome, everyone, to the Squeaky Floorboard Society. I'm Sage.
I'm Megan.
And you're back or you're new. Either way, welcome. I don't typically sound like I don't know what I'm doing.
She's sick. Give her a break.
I work with children and so I'm sick often. Um so I told you in the last time we recorded that I had a Mothman thing.
Yeah.
I had a spooky story. So do you want the fake Mothman thing or do you want the spooky UFO story first?
Either.
We'll start with the UFO one. So we went into PA, not to Lancaster, but to a town because we had to go. I do grocery pickup in that town because I like the drive because we get to drive through the mountains. So I'd rather go there than drive and be stuck in a traffic jam to get to the same store. I'm not about that
Right.
life. And so we are driving and they didn't finish picking my order in time, so they moved it to the next time slot. And I was like, all right, that's fine. Like, we'll go eat dinner at this Chinese buffet and then we'll go get the groceries. So we go, but I realized that I needed more wine. So we were like the liquor store is right next to it where I get the wine from. So we go there and we come out and we're sitting there and we're watching. Now we live in a heavy military area. I didn't realize how heavy until like a couple months ago. And we're watching what has to be a helicopter with like a spotlight on. And it's flying and we're watching it and then it like completely vanishes from the sky. Now it is dark outside, but typically you can see like red flashing lights from a helicopter at least.
Right.
Nothing. And like it wasn't
Hmm.
like it went behind trees or it went behind the building. Like it was like in an open like area. It was like in the middle of a huge open area. So there was no reason for it to just like vanish. And
It's weird.
my husband's a big skeptic on everything. And even he was like,
Hmm.
where did that go? Because it was like it was there, gone. And like helicopters have to have like some form of a light on to let other vehicles in the sky know that they're there.
Right.
It is just gone.
So weird.
And so we were like, what the fuck? And so then I was making alien jokes, as one does.
Right. Of course.
And he was like, well, and I was like, are we even really sure it was a helicopter that we were seeing?
Right.
Because to be fair, it was just one big light. And then I
Mm-hmm.
don't remember seeing green and reds on it. I just
Hmm.
remember like looking up and seeing the big circle. And so he was like, well, it had to be a helicopter. It wasn't a plane that was too low. And I'm like, we're on a mountain. It could have been at normal height.
Right.
I was like, but we're not sure that it was a helicopter.
Or it could be
I was like, it could be a UFO. I go, technically, it is a UFO. And he was
because we
like,
don't know what the fuck it was.
no, it's not. You just think that everything's aliens. And I was like, no, like we don't know for sure that it was a helicopter, so therefore it still is an unidentified flying object. That doesn't mean aliens. It just means we don't know what we were looking at.
Right. Did I tell you about? I'm pretty sure I have the time I saw a UFO.
Yes,
Okay.
I don't think you told it on the podcast, so if you want to tell it,
Oh. Um. Back when I worked at the restaurant, I was covering at a store. Um. Of the same restaurant in a different location. And on my way back, it was very late and I was driving. And up in the sky, around one of the turnpikes, there was this like light hovering in the sky. And it was, bless you.
thank you.
And then it was there and it just looked so weird. I
Yeah,
was like, that's not a plane, that's not a helicopter. And I'm guessing that's kind of what you saw. It just looked weird.
yeah,
That one singular big glowing light.
yep.
And I was like, what is that? Like, I have no idea what that could even be. And so I'm slowing down, and the other cars around me are slowing down because they're seeing it too. And then it's gone. And then I
See,
told,
and it's crazy that they just like it just
Mhm.
like vanishes.
Yeah, I told somebody else at work the next day, and they're like, yeah, I saw on Facebook that like people saw something. I was like, huh,
It's so
cool.
crazy too.
Anything's a UFO if you're bad enough at identifying shit,
Yeah.
frankly.
Now the Mothman thing. So I received a gift in the mail that says, "A gift for you. Add this to your collection. May this be the first out of the 50 books you plan to read in 2026 from Mothman."
Who sent it to you?
I know who sent it to me. They listened to the podcast, but I've talked about Hell's Bells a lot. It's a TikTok
Oh,
series by JC Lynn. Um, I've listened to her audiobook like 3 or 4 times at this point. So the person got me the actual book.
oh, that's sweet.
So I'm excited to actually get to read it and not listen to it. However, I have almost completed my 2025 goal to read 8 books.
I haven't read any.
Well, because
I
I
have
spend,
to in my okay. That's not entirely true. I've read parts of books.
well, with being in school and reading a lot of psychology books and now philosophy and
Right.
math books and just constantly reading stuff that like my psychology, I love reading psychology. I love learning about it. It's why I'm in school for psychology. But I wanted something where I don't have to really absorb what I'm listening or reading to.
Right.
Whereas like I've read no, I think it was 10 books. And I think I'm on book 10. I'm like 43% of the way through with it. But like I'm reading like romance novels and like smut.
Right. Yeah, I mean, smut's fun.
So that way I don't have to like really think about what I'm reading.
Or what kind of smut? Okay, you can cut this out if you want. But what kind of smut are you reading that you're not having to do like you know that meme of that lady where like all those like numbers and shapes are transposed over her and she's like
I know what you're
it's
talking
that blonde
about.
lady. That's what I look like trying to figure out what position people are in.
There was the other day I was in the bed. I don't think my husband was home, but I was in the bed trying to figure out the positioning. So I'm like reading it and like doing yoga in the bed.
Really? No, I was reading one the other day and I was like, I'm on the couch. I'm like, if they're there, if he's there, this is happening. I'm like, where am I?
But lately a lot of the ones I've been reading are I read a mafia one and there's like 8 books in the series and I have to finish the series. I have to. I need to know what happens in the rest of them.
I just haven't had time to sit down and read an actual book
Well,
in a
that's why I
very
listen
long
to
time.
a lot of audiobooks is because I was
I
like
can't do audiobooks.
I listened to the entire book that you were like, we're going to listen to this together. And then you didn't.
I haven't had time. You know what? That's a lie. I had time, but I was consuming content that was good for my brain instead. I still do intend to listen to it.
I finished it in like, what, a week?
Yeah, you did all three, dude.
Well, because it was just one continuous audiobook on my
Oh,
end.
that's true. Oh,
So
hmm.
it was like 24 hours long. So it wasn't like,
Oh, divided over 7 days. That's only three
yeah,
hours a day. No, that's more than 3 hours a day.
it's some
Because
amount of time a day.
3 is 21,
One.
not 24.
So like 3.2 a day, 3.25 ish,
What is 8 times 3?
24.
Yep. Okay, so 4 hours a day to finish it in a week.
Yeah. I was like trying to do the
You
math.
you listen to Shrek porn for 4 hours a day?
To be fair, it wasn't entirely Shrek porn. The last one is funny.
I feel like the first one's funny too.
The second one's like okay, but the first one's just a shock. It was like a train wreck.
I couldn't stop listening. See,
But the
I haven't read like any books, like sat down or anything. But will say this year I've consumed more educational content than I have in past years.
well, that's
Part of
good.
that's because I found YouTube channels that are educational that I really like.
I didn't realize that they continued BuzzFeed Unsolved Network
Yeah, it's still around.
after Shane and Ryan left. Like I didn't know that there was new people doing it or anything like that. And I
Yeah.
was just watching one of their episodes and I was like, I actually can't do this. You're not the boys.
I
And I left.
yeah, they're not the boys. anyways.
So I'm getting ready to
I wouldn't
I
I
unsubscribed
wouldn't
from them.
I wouldn't want to support BuzzFeed anyways.
Well, I didn't even know I was still following it until I saw that I had a new video from them in my subscriptions, and
Oh. Hmm?
I was
You're
like,
like, huh?
I was like, my men, what are you doing? And then I went and I was like, you are not my men.
I don't like that they re-upload like Shannon Ryan's old content on there.
Well, I think that was the reason that I didn't unsubscribe from them yet was that they would do like it would just be continuous streams of all of their stuff.
Yeah,
And
I don't
so
like
like
that. It rubs me the wrong way.
occasionally I would go back and watch that instead of like trying to find certain videos and stuff like that. But then it was on Hulu.
Oh,
And,
yeah, no, it is. It is on Hulu.
and so you could watch it there, but I was like, but I'm still giving them money.
Yeah.
But I just finished watching I think 2 days ago their 24-hour stay, and I take in a lot of spooky content.
I don't anymore. It's really strange. I don't know what happened.
I well like so I'm not allowed to watch scary things before bed because I'll have nightmares that my husband is like killing me. I never have
Right.
nightmares that he's like I've never had a dream of him cheating. Instead I have dreams of him like feeding me to tigers.
Is he
Like
Carol Baskin? Like, what's happening?
I remember this dream so vividly. We like hit it big on something. I don't know. We had a shit ton of money, but our house was like the bottom half was like a zoo, and then it was like our living quarters, and then aquarium on the top floor. Like I don't
That's
know
sick.
what money we had, but apparently we had
That is
money.
so sick.
And we heard over the radio that one of the tigers got out, and he was like, "Well," I was like, he was like, "Well, we don't have anything in here. Do you want to go get a drink or something like that for us?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like I'll go get our stuff." Because I didn't think the tiger made it to that floor. And I opened the door and the tiger's there. And he was like, "Well, I want my drink," and shoved me out the door, and the tiger killed me.
You know what's crazy? The craziest part of that is that you guys heard on the radio something that was happening in your own fucking house.
I know. It's like I have like nightmares like that where he's like feeding me to things. I don't ever have cheating dreams of him.
You know what's crazy? I
But
saw. Remember how I used to have that recurring nightmare about the T Rex from Jurassic Park breaking through the AutoZone section of Walmart?
yeah.
And then I have to escape Walmart? I have not had that dream ever since I saw this like TikTok video about baby T-Rexes. Like it was a really sad video about baby T-Rexes, and I think it like rewired my brain
Ooh, well, at least it helped
because
out.
I haven't had that nightmare ever since. It was about like this like triceratops killing these baby T-Rexes because the mama T-Rex killed her baby.
Oh.
And it showed the mommy T-Rex being really, really sad.
Oh.
And I was like, my brain was like, well, you're a mom too.
Oh.
T-Rexes are good, clearly. They don't want to kill you.
That's actually really cute. Are
So,
you
yeah.
are you ready for today's topic?
Hang on, I have something I want to bitch about.
Okay.
I mentioned this to you earlier. I wanted to bitch about this, and it will not be timely or topical by the time that this episode comes out. That stupid girl from Oklahoma University or wherever the fuck it is, she wrote this essay. So her like psychology professor assigned them an assignment based on a specific article and was like, "Hey, do you agree?" It was about gender roles. It was like, "Hey, do you agree or disagree with this like the points in this article?"
Yeah.
And I want to point out her I'll wait to bring that out. But so she writes it, and she talks about how she doesn't agree because God didn't, God created men and women to do specific things, which is fine. It's fine to have that viewpoint. Um, People who know me know that I'm also religious. However, this is such a bad fucking essay. The professor failed her and straight up said in the feedback, like, hey, it's okay to have this position, but you have to, like, cite sources to back it up.
Yeah.
Um, and if you can't just say that you cited the Bible because you didn't cite the Bible, you referenced the Bible and didn't cite it. Um, so yeah, I've read excerpts from the paper, and I haven't read the whole thing because I can't find the whole thing. I can only find pieces of it. I'm sure the full thing is available somewhere
Yeah.
at this point. But she got her professor put on leave on the grounds of like she was being discriminated against for her Christian beliefs. Girl, that is one of the worst fucking essays I've ever read at a college level. You didn't cite things. You didn't meet the word count. You didn't reference the original article correctly. You didn't do the assignment.
You
I would
just
have failed you too.
wrote.
I agree with you, and I would have failed you too.
That's the thing is like, if like you're telling me I could go off. I don't know if I'm kept this in the last episode that I did, but in APA format, a professor told me that I did not have to have a conclusion paragraph and that I cited stuff that I didn't use. She's given me bad grades on essays. I have turned in essays and she's like, no, this is all AI generated. When it wasn't, I wrote it myself.
Yeah, see, that professor needs to be put on leave. This girl's professor did not. They were very fair in their grading, quite frankly. What's funny is somebody fed her essay into Chat GPT, and Chat GPT also gave her a 0.
I love
Once
that.
once it was fed the prompt for the essay and her essay, it assigned her a score of 0 because she didn't do the assignment. Anyways, the professor is trans, and so people think she purposefully wrote a bad essay in order to get her trans professor fired.
I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't either. But regardless, people please understand that if you're getting bad grades on stuff, let's say that benefit of the doubt here, that is not her end goal, and she's just stupid and can't fucking write. Sometimes you have to accept that you're just bad at shit,
Yeah.
and you deserve the grade you're getting. There, there are definitely cases where professors are unfair, but you can't just scream discrimination about everything. Sometimes your essay is just ass.
Yeah.
That essay is ass. My 4-year-old son could dictate a better essay to me. He can't write it because he doesn't know how to type, but and he doesn't have the coordination to really write a lengthy essay yet. But I think I probably was writing better work at first grade than this girl is writing in college. They're
I've not
49th.
heard about this.
They're 49th in education for a reason. If that's what you're allowing into your universities, you need to stop letting so many people in.
Like, it'd be one thing, like, if did he even offer like a redo or was his like I know that some professors don't allow redos because they have so many assignments to grade in general.
I don't know if she was offered a redo. If I was a professor, I wouldn't offer redos.
I have professors that will offer and then I've had some that are like, no, like this is one time.
I will say, I think it does depend on the circumstance and what happened.
Yeah.
Um, like I had a professor who it wasn't an essay, it was an assignment, but she said to do problem like 16.4, but there was a discussion 16.4 and a problem 16.4, and a lot of people did the discussion. Um, because you actually come to that first in the end of the chapter problems. Um, and it was like the first assignment where we had to use like the in section of the book. So she offered people redos for that because she was like, I totally see the confusion here.
Yeah.
You know, you guys can redo those questions if you want. But I understand no redos on essays, especially essays that you have a long time to work on.
Yeah. I'm very much a wait till the last minute to do an essay.
I do too. I
Like I
am too.
have an essay that's
But
due today and I finished it right before we jumped on here.
nice.
So I'm not a
Oh,
great example.
I finally got my essay back from my marketing class.
Is
I
this
say
the
about
one
that?
class that you guys didn't
Yeah.
know?
No, this is the one that he just took forever to grade it, and yeah, he doesn't upload work weekly. It's very strange. He forgets sometimes to upload our homework,
He's doing his best.
and I don't think he is. I shouldn't have to I shouldn't have to blow up your phone. I shouldn't have to resort from emailing to texting you to find out if we still have a test or not because you haven't mentioned it in a
I
month.
I'm barely passing my math class right now.
Anyways, I was heated about that essay, and I had to get it out.
I'm gonna
before we
look
got
it
into the
up
episode.
and I'm gonna see if I can find the whole thing and then I'm gonna read it.
I just want you to know she used the phrase "I think" in a college level essay.
First of all, you're not even supposed to use the word I, let alone I think.
Yeah.
The only class I have been in where it's the APA format that I'm allowed to say I think is the philosophy of religion class. And that is because it's based on personal opinion.
Yeah, and she probably would have been failed by that professor too.
What if I
That
said
professor would tell her to use AI next time.
this professor thinks everything's AI?
All right, Sage, now that I've ranted,
All right.
let me hear what you got this week.
Have you ever heard of the story of the werewolf of Chalons?
Nope. Sounds French
Okay.
though.
It is, because I can't get away from France. So today we're stepping into the fog-laced streets of 16th century France, in a quiet town called Chalons, where beneath the hum of daily life, a tailor worked at his needle by day and hunted children by night. His name, Nicholas Dumont. But history remembers him by a much darker title, the Demon Tailor of Chalons.
So like the demon barber of Fleet Street.
Kind of. And if the whispers are true, he wasn't always in human form. So was Nicholas a deranged serial killer, a creature of folklore, a scapegoat in a time of fear and superstition, or was he a werewolf? I want you to make an uneducated guess.
I think he was a scapegoat.
All right. So,
I don't know anything. I'm just guessing based on
no,
everything
you're
else.
good. This story's, it reminds me of why we have, hold on, why we have the nursery rhyme about the Muffin Man. Do you not know about the Muffin Man? It was
A
a
Muffin
serial,
Man?
the Muffin Man. He was a serial killer that lived on Drury Lane
Right.
that lured kids into his bakery to kill them.
Who lives on Drury Lane?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Please tell me you know what I'm
I
referencing.
know what you're referencing. I did not listen to Shrek Erotica to not know that
Well,
quote.
she's married to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man, you say? All right. Today we are
Sorry.
stitching together his story, one torn from the blood soaked seams of history. The year is 1598. France is fractured by war, religion, famine, and fear. Across the countryside, tales of witches, demons, and beasts stalk the imaginations of peasants and nobles alike. In the town of Chalons, a modest tailor named Nicholas Demont runs his shop. On the surface, it's nothing remarkable. He mends cloaks, fashion garments, and minds his business. He wasn't a nobleman, not a soldier, just a man with a needle and thread working, which I feel like at that time was not considered a man's job still.
I don't know. I
I
mean,
feel like,
cobblers were men.
but I feel like anytime I've heard about like tailors, it's usually like women.
Well, that's a seamstress. They're slightly different.
But I feel like I never hear. Oh, I guess Hercules Mulligan. Never mind, ignore everything I've
I
just
was just gonna say the French are just like that.
said. I like that my only knowledge of Hercules Mulligan is from the musical Alexander Hamilton.
Right.
Um, in 16th century, tailors were more than just clothing makers. They were a part of the social fabric, literally. A good tailor could elevate your status, fit you for court, and clothe your children for church. Demont ran his own shop. That alone meant he had some success, enough to rent or own the property and to take apprentices and to attract regular customers. Now, we don't have much information on him, but we can speculate what his shop was at this time. His shop likely sat near the town square along a busy area, close enough to catch the eye of anyone that was passing by. There was probably bright fabrics in the window. There is a good chance that to his customers he was respectable, skilled, and perhaps even very well liked. And we can guess that by the fact that he had his own shop. You will hear how we know this when he's the only worker in his shop. His business gave him a cover, a reason to interact with families, a way to lure children into his shop. This was the perfect mask. But behind the quiet storefront, something far more sinister was unraveling. Children had been disappearing. At first, it was just a few children, then a few more, and then there were dozens missing. They all vanished without a trace. There was nothing left, not a single hair, even. It was as if they left town, but they were very small children. Then all the suspicion began to point at one man. And once authorities raided Nicholas's tailor shop, what they found would scar the region forever. The shop smelled of must and cloth as it would. As far as anyone could tell, nothing was really out of place. It looked like a normal tailor shop fabrics, needles, strings. But this was until the investigators got to the cellar. What they hoped would be all the excess equipment was not what they found. Instead, they found barrels upon barrels. Now, I bet you're wondering what could have been in these barrels? Do you want to make a guess?
It's well, I want to say positive thinking, lie or mercury. I know that's not what it's gonna be, but
It is not what it is. They were filled with bones, human bones stripped clean, which I also feel like was not on your radar.
yeah, I was gonna guess just like whole children.
I know. I was like, you're not gonna be able to guess that it was just the bones. And these bones, they were bleached clean. And I bet you're wondering, where is the rest of them? This is just their bones. Like, what happened to the rest of them? Well, bits of flesh, clothing, and what some claimed were organs were preserved in jars. Officials, likely overwhelmed by revulsion and superstition, deemed these human remains instantly. And in the middle of this, Nicholas remained calm and silent. And that was until his confession. Now, there isn't much on his confession, and there is a reason why. The confession, they say, was so grotesque and so damning that the court actually ordered every record to be burned.
What could he possibly have said?
I don't know. I'm assuming, well, we have some superstitions or some possible rumors that spread around that could be the reason for the I'm gonna have to put a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode. I did not give you a trigger warning, and I am so sorry for that.
Did we also put one at the other episode about my toe? Trigger warning: broken bones.
Well, this is
This is worse.
it's getting
My
ready to
toe
get
bone,
worse.
my toe bone is still attached to my foot and not in a barrel.
That is true. So, there were whispers of rumors, as they tend to do, survived the flames. Now, I know you're wondering how they were so bad. Well, it was said that he lured children into a shop, and boys and girls. He would then violently sexually assault them, mutilate them, slit their throats, and if that wasn't enough, he would dress their bodies like meat as if he was butchering livestock. And then he would eat them. When he couldn't find victims in town, he roamed the woods outside of Chalons, not as a man, but as a wolf. Now, this is where Nick's story crosses from murder into myth. And if you haven't listened to any of our other episodes, or if you're new here, we're going over a very common theme in this episode so far. 16th century France believed in werewolves, and it wasn't a fairy tale. It was a legal reality. You could be tried, convicted, and executed for being a werewolf. The church and courts believed a man could make a pact with the devil, don a magic wolf skin, and transform into a beast. So, to fully understand my stories that take place in France, let's actually talk a little bit more about it. This wasn't a time of peace and reason, it was a time of terror. France was bleeding, torn apart by religious wars that turned neighbors against each other. From 1562 to 1598, Catholics and Protestants fought in a brutal, blood soaked conflict known as the French Wars of Religion. I do want to interject here, though. My only knowledge of the Catholic and the Protestants is from the TikTok series Hell's Bells, which is, again, what this book is based on.
You don't know anything else?
I've learned more now, but majority of my knowledge that comes from it is literally from that series.
Sage, I'm Irish.
We don't ever talk about Catholic and Protestants except for when we've recorded this.
Oh, I know okay, you know how I've talked about the IRA before?
Yes.
That's against the British. Part
Okay.
of the reason. And then that feeds into the whole Catholic Protestants thing too. Northern Ireland is Protestant, I believe, and the South was more Catholic. North was more royalist. South was more um, nationalist.
Okay.
So religion kind of played a part in it because England is a Protestant nation.
I did not know that. See,
Mhm.
we learn something new every episode.
Yeah.
um, but a vast majority of my knowledge when I was writing this research
Right.
was from the Hell Spell series.
Man, I was really wrong in my initial guess, by the way.
About what? Oh, about
About, yeah, this guy.
scapegoating.
Yeah. I mean, do they know the bones were human?
I think it's
Could
just
it have been
speculation.
could it have been small dogs, perhaps?
With as many children that went missing.
Could it be dogs
It
or
could be.
cats,
It could be.
perhaps?
It could be. But either way, cities were burned and families were slaughtered, and trust that was gone, replaced with whispers, superstition, and the constant fear that the devil was lurking in plain sight. Famine stalked the land, disease claimed the weak, and in the chaos, the church was already battling heresy,
Heresy.
heresy, turned its gaze to darker enemies, witches, demons, and shapeshifters and werewolves. Courts across Europe. Why did I make it
Europe.
plural?
Europe's.
Europe prosecuted dozens, sometimes hundreds of people believed to have transformed into wolves to feed on human flesh. And the public, they believed it. They needed to believe it because if a wolf could be blamed for a missing child, you didn't have to look closely at your own neighbor. You didn't have to ask what your priest or your magistrate was doing in the dark. And in the storm of fear and superstition, the monsters weren't just hiding in the woods. They were in towns, shops, and in the shadows behind candlelight. So when a quiet tailor was accused of the unthinkable crimes and was said to hunt as a wolf under the moon, not a single person doubted it. They were already looking for the devil, and they found him behind a sewing table. And Nicholas was said to do just that. He stalked travelers in the woods, children playing near the trees, and as a wolf, he leaped from the shadows and shred their throats. One man was the reason for dozens of deaths. Although his confession focused on more blood and bones than fur and fangs, the people believed it. This tailor was no man. He was a werewolf. So on December 14th of 1598, Nicholas de Mont stood before a court. And what we can speculate is that the air must have been thick with dread. The judges already knew, and people had gathered. He was found guilty for murder, cannibalism, and lycanthropy. His sentence to be burned alive at the stake. Now, we're actually going to shift to a little bit of religious talk for a second. So, I wanted to look up why burning at the stake was the most used
You'll get there.
execution method for those accused of witchcraft, heresy, and lycanthropy. So, burning at the stake has different reasons for why it was used. For practical reasons, there was the availability of fuel because wood was relatively common and readily available. And it was this public spectacle. Now, I don't know if this was very common for any type of execution to a public execution. They used to have festivals for things like this, but for this specifically, it was highly visible and dramatic for of an execution, making it a powerful deterrent and a clear display of authority. Now, I know in England they used to have full blown festivals for like public executions and stuff.
Yeah, you would go and you'd get crunk.
Yeah, they would have like vendors selling stuff, and it would just be like a whole party.
Yeah. Gesundheit.
Oh
Gesundheit.
my goodness. Every time I sneeze when I'm sick, it makes me really scared because the only time I've sneezed while being sick, I had COVID.
You can sneeze for other reasons besides
Well, I know,
COVID.
but when I've been sick and have like sneeze a lot, it was because
Right.
like the COVID and like
Because of
obviously your
COVID.
nerves are dying in your nose and on your tongue. Or no, they're not dying, but they're like
Fighting. They're fighting.
whatever causes you to lose your sense of smell and taste
Mm-hmm.
is when I would
Yeah,
start
whatever that
sneezing the
is.
most. Um, but before we get into the last practical reason, I do want to say this. The church was scared of losing their followers. Anyone that didn't match what the church wanted you to believe were executed. By invoking these fears, they were able to keep control of the people. So the last practical reason was that it was relatively inexpensive and it required less tools and expertise. And now we're
Yeah,
going to
it's pretty easy to set someone on fire,
yeah,
honestly.
like super easy. But now we're going to get into the symbolic reasons. The first one is purification. Fire is often associated with purification in many cultures and religions. Burning was seen as a way to cleanse the heretic
Mhm.
or witch of their sins, even as it destroyed their body. The second one was that it was to mimic hellfire. For those accused, burning at the stake was seen as a way to replicate the internal damnation they were supposed to face in hell. And the last symbolic reason, what is going on? Oh, but my phone's going off and it's about like, please rate your train ride yesterday. The last symbolic reason is that it was complete destruction. Unlike other methods, burning could reduce the body to ashes, symbolizing the complete obliteration of the individual and their evil influence. And now we're going to shift over to the religious reasons. Reason one is the biblically precedent. Some proponents of burning at the stake cited biblical passages that mentioned burning as a punishment for certain offenses. The second is the association with divine judgment. Fire is a powerful and awe inspiring force and is used in executions, could be seen as a way to invoke divine judgment upon the condemned. And the last reason was a demonstration of religious authority. The church and state often use executions as a way to exert their religious and moral authority over the populace. And those are the reasons.
Fire.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say that's why they used fire.
Fire's a big deal in the Catholic Church, especially because I don't know how many people know this, but as somebody who's done extensive, like, actual, like, teaching and CCE stuff in the Catholic Church, Purgatory is also on fire. Don't know if you guys know that.
I did not know that. I
Purgatory is also a place of fire.
I think we have a Russian Catholic or Orthodox Russian Catholic church here in town.
That I've always wanted to go to an Orthodox church. They're so fascinating to me.
Just based on like what they are wearing, and but we're not entirely sure based
Do
on the name of the church if it's an. We don't know if it's Catholic, and we know it's Orthodox. And the reason we know that
well,
is because it's called the Orthodox Church of Entrance.
I mean, Orthodoxy is like a sister church to the Catholic Church.
I don't know.
Eastern Orthodox, yeah.
Well, I know that like every religion has its form of Orthodox per se.
Oh yeah, like Orthodox Jews. That tends to just mean the more
Orthodox
traditional.
Christians.
Yeah,
I've
that
heard of
tends to
that.
just be
Yeah.
the more traditional. But if it's an Eastern Orthodox church, it's just an Orthodox church. It's like a cousin church.
I have no clue. Well, we were looking at
They
their
have their own. They have their
outfits.
own pope.
When we were looking at the outfits, Dennis was like, I think that's Russian. Like what they're
Do they
wearing.
veil?
I don't know. I just saw pictures of the men.
Oh, because if the women are all veiled, they're probably they're at least just they're the Orthodox church that I'm thinking of.
Weird. We talked about going just to see what they're about.
Why not?
Just like,
I'd love
just
to
to
go.
see. I gotta turn my other light on. I didn't realize how dark it was getting in here.
I have a veil. Let's go. You can
We'll
borrow one of mine.
we'll go when you're here. We'll go see what they're about.
Yeah, go see what they're doing. Wait, what you guys doing?
Well, cause like he was looking at it, he's like, that's Russian, and I was like, that's here in town.
He would know.
He would know. And so we're like trying to figure it out. We think it's supposed to be Catholic based on some of the outfits that the men were wearing, but for the most part, they're like in outfits that Dennis says are very Russian like. So we don't know.
Hmm.
We don't know. We're gonna eventually find it out. So we're gonna get back to Nick.
Yeah.
A crowd formed to watch the demon Taylor die. As flames licked up his body and charred his skin, witnesses swore he didn't scream for forgiveness. He cursed. He blasphemed. He screamed for the devil himself, and when his ashes cooled, the town whispered that his soul had gone straight to hell. No grave, no marker. Just ash, smoke, and fear. Now I was wondering, what do they do with the ashes after they have burned someone? Because we talk a lot about them burning someone, but we never talk about the aftermath. And I looked it up and I found out what they did.
Hmm.
So after burning at the stake, the ashes and remaining chars were typically scattered in the wind or thrown into the river. This was done to ensure that no physical remains were left to be taken by the condemned's followers. Nicholas Demont, the demon tailor, may be gone, but his story lingers, in the creak of old floorboards and the whispering woods, and the glance of a stranger who seems a little too calm. Here at the Squeaky Floorboard Society, we remember stories like this, not to glorify the horror, but to remember the warning signs, to remind ourselves that sometimes evil doesn't come howling in the woods. Sometimes it steps out of a quiet little shop covered in thread with blood beneath the fingernails.
That's a good message. That's a very good message.
But
Humans are always. You don't need supernatural creatures. Humans are capable of far worse than you think they are.
yeah, and so, what do you think of Nicholas Demont's case?
I think it sounds like he was a serial killer,
Yeah, you
and
said
just
scapegoat,
he
and I
lived.
was like,
It's just so many of these have been scapegoats. Like poor little Hans. I think about Hans a lot. He was just a baby.
Thief always stays in my mind. He's like
Thief, yeah,
the
but he
times
wasn't a scapegoat.
he
He
was.
he won. He said, unprovoked.
We should get. That should be a merch idea. Thieves of Livonia.
Oh yeah, 100%. That should be merch.
100%. We need to have a Thieves of Livonia shirt.
If we ever make merch, guys, we will give you Feast of Livonia
We
shirts.
have a document with like merch ideas.
Yeah. I think there's 3 items on it.
I thought there was two.
Oh yeah, we haven't put Thief on there yet.
No, I was like, I think it's just Mothman. Throw that piss in a circle. But we have to
Yeah.
have a Thieves because Thieves just be.
Mhm.
Mothman is to Dark Corner as Thieves is to Squeaky Floorboard Society.
Correct. My phone went off very loudly and I don't know what it could possibly. Oh, not important.
But yeah, that is the story of Nicholas Demont. Crazy story. Definitely serial killer, not scapegoat. Um,
Although also definitely not a werewolf.
yeah, definitely not a werewolf. Definitely.
Just happened to be in 16th century France.
But see, I wonder if there's like because it is common that we make nursery rhymes for scary things. Like
Mhm.
again with the Muffin Man, Drury Lane, there is a Drury Lane serial killer that poem or that nursery rhyme is based off of. Like most
Well,
nursery rhymes are based off of true crime stuff to be like a warning. And then
or
you
ring around the Rosie.
yeah. Or oh my god, what is it? The Lizzie Borden one?
I don't know that one, but I know what it is. Like I've
Mhm.
heard it. I've definitely heard it before. I don't remember
I've
what
always
it
heard
is.
Lizzie Borden had an axe. She gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
There's one about um a boy touching a girl without her permission and then she buries him under a tree.
Is
I
it
don't remember
is it
how
Peter
it
Peter
goes.
Pumpkin Eater? Kiss a
Mm-mm.
wait, no, is it?
And I'm
We're
glad
looking
you
this up.
know. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about.
I think it's Peter Peter Pumpkin Eater.
So this is apparently a skipping rhyme from Chokley and Winterset. I have a deadly nightshade, so twisted does it grow, with berries black as midnight and a skull as white as snow. The vicar's cocky young son came to drink my tea. He touched me without asking, now he's buried neath a tree.
Hmm.
That's the one I was thinking of.
I'd never heard that one. When it you said it was like a skipping rhyme.
Hmm.
I think the closest thing that I heard to that, or like something like that, is like the what was it? Cinderella, Cinderella. It was jump roping.
Oh.
How does that
Yeah, I mean,
go?
that's what a skipping rhyme is, I believe. Man, you know what's crazy? And I think about this sometimes. Like when I'm doing modern stuff, I'll think about like how boring life must have been for people to be like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go jump rope. Like, that's crazy.
All right, so I found it. It's Cinderella dressed in yellow went upstairs to kiss a fella, made a mistake, kissed a snake. How many doctors did it take? And then you would
Oh, I
count
know
as
what
you
that is.
jumped. Yeah.
Yeah. Cinderella, Cinderella. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Um, I'm gonna say something that probably is not controversial, but I am glad that they accused him of being a werewolf. Because if he had just been convicted for regular crimes, for just like the assault and murder of those kids,
He would have been let
he
back out.
probably no, he probably, due to the cannibalism, he probably would have either been hung or beheaded. But because he was a werewolf, they burned him alive, and he should have been burnt alive for that shit. So I'm glad they accused him. This is the one time I'm gonna say I'm glad they accused him of being a werewolf.
Yeah,
He deserved that shit.
he definitely did, especially because, like, we don't have an exact number of how many children he unfortunately murdered, but, like, from what I could tell, they were very young children. Like,
And the fact that he did other shit to him, like
if you're,
set his ass on fire now, Your Honor.
like, he was like, let me check every box off that I can.
Literally, I'm gonna be so evil.
That I'm just gonna, he had to have a checklist.
He had to have.
Well,
Like the devil.
sexually
himself was in
assaulted
his
them.
ear.
Now I've slit their throat. Now I've skinned them
I've mutilated them.
alive. Like
Yeah.
he,
Like, yeah, no, set his ass on fire. They
yeah,
should have done more. I think they should have done more.
they should have done to him what they did to Michael.
Michael, which one was he?
The werewolf or the beast of Ansbach,
Oh,
where
yeah,
they
you know what? Yeah, they should have set him on fire and then made an effigy of him
and then set that
out of
on
a
fire too.
wolf and paraded it around town. Yeah, no, they should have done that shit. I was thinking of that other guy and his wife where the wife got like ripped apart by an angry mob, quite literally.
Yeah,
That's also not a good way to go.
no,
But they should have set him on fire and then drawn and quartered him using wild horses. Um, yeah,
I don't know what
that's
they
my
should have
that's
fully
my
done, but they
opinion.
needed to do something
And they did do something. So France,
more
good
than
job.
that.
France, you finally did something right. You accused the right person of being a werewolf for once. We're proud of you for that.
You know what's really crazy?
What?
I'm
You cut out.
looking. Do you know what's really crazy?
Hmm.
I'm looking. I only have 3 more episodes before we hit the dark corner and coffee.
I'll have to actually buy a coffee. Have any
Guys,
coffee? We
we
could
are.
knock all those out in one sitting too.
Yeah, we could, because averaging's not super long. I think Jean Garnier is, and Australia is a decent length. It's so
Man,
crazy. 3 episodes left for us to record, besides obviously the Dark Quarters of Coffee, before we are done with season 1.
yeah, it's been a trip.
It has been. It's so crazy too, just like the things we've learned. I learned Napoleon was real.
You learned King Arthur wasn't.
Merlin
I've
wasn't
learned
either.
I've learned so much about the French. I didn't like any of it,
I
except for what I learned in this episode, which is that they set this guy on fire.
but like guys, I'm kind of sad to think about that we're almost done with season 1.
It's sad, but we have season 2 coming up,
Yeah.
and like I mentioned in the last episode, we have some fun stuff planned. We have interesting places to talk about,
I will say
interesting
that
people.
mine are super heavy on history.
Yeah, mine are quite
Like,
history heavy.
yeah, mine are super history heavy, and I'm super excited about it.
We might even have some fun little trips planned.
Maybe you'll have to wait and see.
Some fun little expeditions.
As we've told you guys
Honestly,
before, these episodes don't come out anytime close to when they were recorded. And if you
no.
haven't, if you've listened to the episodes and been like, well, that happened months ago, we're
That's
aware.
why.
We just
We're
want to make
aware.
sure
We
that
don't.
we have, because the last time we recorded, we had a lot of times where unexpected things would happen, and we were recording weekly. And we
Yeah.
still are, but we were like, we recorded, and then by that Tuesday, the episode was coming out.
This
And
time we've had less like technical stuff.
yeah,
So maybe in the future we'll have a different posting schedule.
yeah.
But as of right now, especially if we could get some help,
hmm If someone edited and did everything else, and we just got to do the research, we'd be
we would
fucking
still be
set.
really slow. We'd be slow still.
Well, and like also having a backlog is nice too, in case anything unexpected happens with one of us or like our
Hmm.
families and stuff like that. If we aren't able to record, then we don't
We
have to
had that happen.
stress.
Yeah, we had that happen recently. You guys, by having a big old backlog, you guys don't have to go without episodes
Yeah. Or
because we have personal stuff come up.
and also it helps too if like we randomly have an episode that we need to get out, then we know that we can just move things around and go ahead and publish that one.
Like our Halloween episode, we recorded that like on the fly.
Yeah, we recorded that literally a week before,
Yeah.
and we got everything done for
So
that.
it's gonna be great. You guys are really. I think you guys are really gonna like it. Unless you were just here for Dogman. But even then, may
Dogman
I
might
tell
come back
you?
up.
May I tell you? There's a Dogman. I've already had a Dogman reference in an episode.
Really? I think I have a
Yeah, he'll be
Mothman
back.
reference,
He'll be back. He'll be back.
but
And I think we plan quite a bit ahead, and I think we've got kind of a similar idea in mind for season 3, which is also going to be very fun.
I know, we guys, we're trucking along, and we have so much more content for you guys. So
So we hope you
hopefully,
like everything that's come out so far.
And hopefully you'll keep listening. And eventually we'll have listener stories. And maybe you can tell us one of your spooky stories.
Please share your stories. Or if you have something you want to hear us talk about, please tell us.
Yeah, if you have suggestions, by all means, email us. We
If you don't
have
want to comment, yeah, you can email, comment on YouTube, comment on our TikTok.
anything because we do have a huge document that I refer to as the Bible of the Squeaky Floorboard Society that
Oh,
has everything in it.
the Bible of the Beast, if you will. Is that your McDonald's cup?
Yeah.
I was like, I know that cup. This is not
Here for your
sponsored by
thumbnail.
McDonald's, obviously. Oh, hang on. All right. I don't have a straw today.
I have to be better about pushing my mic out of my face.
It's okay.
Just make it
I
easier
just
on you.
include your mic. I include your mic in the thumbnails most of the time. I'm like, I can't. It's too much work. I can't remove it without taking off half her face.
I just start recording like this. No one sees my face ever.
I'm gonna read all my episodes like this.
The people are like, why are you guys even doing videos at this point?
Fair, I did record in a wolf mask.
Yeah, that is.
He's up there. He's up there, by the way, guys. He's that one. He's got a Naruto wig and headband on.
Okay, I see. I was like, I see the wig and the headband. I did not see him, but now I do.
That wig and headband is on the wolf, and then the yellow wig next to it is the one I wore in the Halloween episode.
All right, guys. Well, I'm sick, and I would like to go take a bunch of medications and not be sick anymore. Um,
We'll see you guys next week, and yeah, 3 more weeks.
thanks.